Hey everyone, my name is Tommy Reynolds, and in this video I'm going to team up and collaborate with portrait photographer and YouTuber Sean Tucker. If you've never heard of Sean, then I will leave all of his links in the description box below, but he is a fantastic photographer and has an amazing outlook on life. And if you've watched any of his videos, you'll know exactly what I mean. Recently Sean contacted me because he wanted me to shoot portraits for his YouTube video. But at the end of filming, we had time to film some bits for a small video that I want to do for my channel. So in this video, we're going to talk about confidence issues, social media anxieties, and what it's like and how you define success as a creative. So if you've ever been stuck in that rut, or you've been comparing yourself with other photographers and it's been getting you down, or if you really don't know how to define success anymore, then this is a video for you. Please check out Sean's links. I will leave them in the description box below. But without further ado, I'm just going to run the film, but I hope you enjoy it. Thanks very much. Hey everyone, I'm joined with YouTuber Sean Tucker, and I just wanted to make this quick little video. We've just shot a video for Sean's channel, and I've kind of gate crashed his cameras and the setup that we've done here because I just wanted to kind of make a very small video for my own channel, because something that I've been going through in the last few weeks is a big confidence knock. And I wanted to ask Sean, I wanted to ask your opinion on, as not just photographers, but any creative. It seems to be a link to specifically creatives who seem to suffer with confidence knocks, or not sure, like gaining new ideas and stuff. So I just wanted to know what your opinion was, or if you've indeed yourself had a confidence knock, and if so, is there a...
This week?
Oh no,
definitely. Like every week. Like it's just such a common thing. I mean, and I have to talk myself out of it every time. But usually for me, where I kind of feel a confidence knock, or where I'm not sure about what I'm doing or not passionate about it anymore, or it's because I'm using the wrong metrics for success, usually is what I'm doing. So if I'm sitting like with a YouTube channel, for example, or Instagram, and social media is the worst for this. If I say, you know, how people are responding to what I'm putting out is a measure of how good it is, I think that's when I hit a confidence knock. So, and I've said in videos I've done before that we always gravitate to any negative because of how we're wired as human beings. We've got this negativity bias. So you can have 100 great comments, for example, and one crappy comment, and that's the one that will make me think, do I really want to do this anymore?
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, we can all pretend it doesn't affect us and that we're, you know, doing stuff for the art and that's what it's about. And that's what I try to talk about, but it's not because I got that wired, it's because I need to hear that the most. So yeah, if I'm worried about numbers or comments or reactions from people, that's when I'll want to give up. And for me, the antidote is to remind myself why I do it. So I ask myself like very, very practical questions. Like, would I still take photographs? Would I still shoot portraits? Would I still shoot street? Would I still make videos even if only 1,000 people were interested? Even if only, you know, 500 people were interested, 100 people were interested? Because I think because like social media can be so abstract sometimes, and we're so removed from all this stuff, you have to think about, would you still do it if those people were in the same room as you, physically? Like you have 20,000, 30,000 followers on YouTube who are interested in what you have to say. And that can be such an abstract number, you can think, I'm just not motivated to do it. But if you walked into what would be a stadium, do you know what I mean? Or at least an arena, they're not going to fit in Wembley Arena. Those people who said, we're kind of interested in what you're doing, and you walk in the room, you would suddenly be energized like crazy.
Yeah.
But because it's so abstract, it can feel, you know, too removed from stuff. And I think that's what I have to remind myself is how many followers I have. I would do it for way, way less if I reminded myself they were real human beings. Because there's two sides of it. Like the one side of it is, it's incredible that 100 people want to listen to what you... My wife told me this because she was the one who, when I started out, you know, the YouTube channel is just growing a little bit. She's going, yeah, but 1,000 people want to hear what you have to say. I'm like, I don't care. You know, PewDiePie's got 60 million. What do I care? Do you know what I mean? But she said, and she's absolutely right, 1,000, put them in a room. Yeah. That's incredible. Like people who have small channels or small followings on Instagram, don't let it, you know, be the driving force, but do be grateful that there's that many people who care about something you might say. That's an incredible thing. But then on the other side of it, if you put too much into it, then it does become, yeah, but if I have if I have 50,000, then I'll be happy. I'll be truly happy. But every single like milestone I've ever reached with anything is nothing when you get there. You're like, I don't care, because there's that milestone, there's that milestone. So the milestones can't be the goal. It's who you actually have today. You have to ask yourself if that's enough, if you never went any further. In fact, if your channel stayed the same forever now, or your Instagram following, or how much work you're getting in from clients or whatever, if that's enough, if you can pay the bills, because that's a big thing, you have to be able to pay the bills, is that enough for you and you're happy with the art you're producing or the work you're doing with the people who are interested? Or are you just after filling this like never-ending hole with an unattainable amount of fame or money that actually everyone who ever gets there will tell you it's pretty meaningless?
Absolutely. I think it's going back to this whole social media thing. When you look at your maybe photography heroes and you see that every other day they're posting an awesome project where they've photographed an awesome subject, and you think, why am I not doing that? Because maybe we've all got to do jobs for the bills, but we don't tend to necessarily post that, do we? We don't post like photographing a gym, for example. And then something that my girlfriend said to me, and she said, well, how do you know that your heroes aren't shooting stuff for the work? You know, but we live in a society now where, well, but they haven't put that online. It was like, well, so you think that everyone literally lives their life online and they have to post everything that they're doing online? Well, you know, we only show our highlights reel, don't we? We always compare that famous saying, isn't it? You always compare your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. And it was almost like an aha moment my girlfriend gave me when she said, just because they're not posting the corporate stuff doesn't mean that they're not actually doing it. Of course. And I think that's a lot to be said about young photographers growing up if they're looking, because I think that I do wonder if people look at me and think the same thing when they think, God, if you only know like some corporate work that I have to do to fund my personal work. But that's the reality of it, isn't it?
Totally.
Do you feel the same?
Absolutely. I mean, I'll be very honest with you. This year, I have had, and we're in July, I've had maybe 4 or 5 photography jobs the entire year, and that's going out and trying to get stuff. And like one was an interior shoot for somebody, but it's just someone started a small company, so I went and took shots in a house. Another one was corporate headshots, which if you've done it, is not super glamorous. Another one was, what else did I do? I shot someone who was selling secondhand furniture in their garage. I mean, not glammy stuff, you know. And then another one was an event thing, which is the worst as well, because you're dealing with rubbish lighting and the rest of it. Like the photography, as in pure photography that pays the bills for me, is not glamorous work at all. Like I don't leave any of those going, I feel creatively fulfilled. But that's why I'm quite deliberate about structuring my life, and I've seen you do it as well, in that we all have to do work that isn't creatively fulfilling because we have to pay the bills. And no one is asking me to go and shoot tribes in Africa. No one's paying me to do that yet. I would love it if that was the case, but it's very, very hard to do nowadays. So I have to do work-a-day photography stuff that is not interesting or creative at all to pay the bills. And then the rest of my time is spent doing the stuff I love that creatively fulfills me. So that in the balance, I'm both creatively fulfilled and I'm paying the bills. And if you could get to the stage where it's both, where you get paid to do the stuff you absolutely love, that's first prize. But having worked alongside and around some big name photographers, they don't even get that. Like most of those guys are doing crappy ad campaigns a lot of the time, where they're dealing with creative execs who want to tell them how to do their job, even though they really know their stuff, and they're producing stuff they're not proud of just to please a client, and this is stuff they don't even want their name on, but it's on, you know, in magazines or whatever. That's the majority of us. Like even your heroes are doing that, and that's why I have to remind myself. So photography is always both and, you know, and that's just by nature. And if you set yourself up for that kind of expectation, I think it's okay, because you're not disappointed. You know?
But it's just so easy though to get caught in that rut, because your heroes aren't posting that stuff. If they were posting that stuff every other day, it would humanize them. But because we don't see that stuff, they assume that, well, they've made it, why am I not there? It's that whole jealousy thing that you spoke of in another video. But I think if people realize, as you said, have that expectation that even your heroes will do that. We'll have to do those jobs to pay the bills, because because it's life, you know, that's what it is. If you are kind of on the verge of doing it professionally, I think that you need to do stuff to pay the bills, but also if you really want to get paid to do what you want to do, you need to prove your worth first. What are you doing at the moment that's you were telling me earlier about what you really wanted to do, like personal work. What is that?
I mean, first prize for me is going to be some combination of documentary and portraits. So I've got this idea to head off to an interesting location with interesting people and dig in for a week, stay for a week somewhere and shoot the people who live there and take portraits with them as well, but shoot the daily life. So that's what I want to do. But no one's going to hire me for that because, I mean, that kind of work at the moment is very hard to get because, you know, Time Magazine and National Geographic are not hiring photographers like that anymore. It's just a reality. So I have to, like you're doing as well, we have to go out and prove that we can do this on our own money. So last year I went to Namibia to shoot with a tribe over there, the Himba tribe. And that was just a first step towards, you know, I can physically do the work. I can technically do the work. So, you know, if you trust me with a story, I could go and do this. But now it's a case of more and more of those. One isn't going to cut it. I need to do more over time and then start to meet people who are in this kind of space and make connections. And I think the important thing to remember with that kind of thing is it is the long game. I think we can so quickly feel entitled, like the world owes us our dream job. Do you know what I mean? Like I want to do this and I can do this and I'm great at this. But how many of us are there? There are a lot of us. There's two of us in this room. Like we have some crossover, you know what I mean? And to say, well, everyone should just deserve to get it, I think is a lovely idea and I wish it was that way. But realistically, I think there's too few jobs for all of us to get. So we all have to kind of long-term goal it. Do stuff we love in the meantime and do it because we love it and on our dime. And then slowly inch towards something and work hard at networking and meeting people and putting our work out there in front of people and fingers crossed and all the rest of it and salt over shoulders but still and I've had to say this to myself, would I keep doing it even if no one paid me? And absolutely I would keep doing this. So I'm not losing anything by risking because the very, very worst that's going to happen is I'm going to spend some money doing something I absolutely love. That's the worst that can happen. The best that's going to happen is I spend some money of mine doing something I love and I get picked up and other people start to pay me for something I absolutely love. There's no losing side if we can keep our expectations in check, I reckon.
Absolutely. There's that other famous quote, isn't it, that says, what would you do if the world wasn't looking? And I think that's, and that was an old quote, and I think that's more apparent now with, again, with social media than it ever was, is what would you do if you didn't have a single Instagram follower? What would you do if Facebook and Instagram didn't exist? What would you do? And for me, would be traveling and doing these kind of really cool portraits with these cool lighting. But I think ultimately it's the traveling I just love because and documentary filmmaking. That's very similar to you. That's what I would do. So, one last question, bit of an out there one. So because it's something that I feel like with my whole confidence knock, I feel like this is my turning point. And I think that I've been measuring the term success wrong.
Right.
How would you define what success is to you?
For me? I'm very, very hard on myself, and I don't get this right. Like, don't hear me saying that I've got this nailed. But for me, success is feeling creatively fulfilled, like going home at the end of the day and going, I'm tired in a good way, and I loved what I did today, and I'm buzzed on it, and being able to pay I don't ever need to live big. It'd be great, it'd be lovely to have money and the rest of it, but I don't need to live big. I live in a small 1-bedroom flat because it's London. What else are you going to do? And I don't need a lot of money. I genuinely don't. I'm not saying that to be cute. Like, and if I can go to bed with food in my stomach and we're paying the rent, and I've done stuff in that day that I'm like, this makes me feel good, or I've told a story, or I've contributed to, this is going to sound super,
no, go on.
But I mean this, like contributed to humanity and giving human beings a better view of ourselves, because I think it's one of the things we're terrible at nowadays, and I think a portrait photographer is especially uniquely placed to make a dent in this, that we all feel rubbish about ourselves. Like, your confidence knock is something I experience all the time and everyone else does. We get very hard on ourselves. The social media comparison game is horrendous and ruins people, genuinely ruins people, that we can shoot people and human beings in a way that's, you've used the word vulnerable with me today, vulnerable, that's open and honest, that's more open and honest than what we try and show off on Instagram, that breaks us down a bit in a way that goes, we're all flesh and blood. That kind of thing, if we contribute to telling that story, that I think in the long term, like pulls the trajectory for all of us away from stuff like, success is a Bentley and a jet and a mansion and rubbish like that doesn't matter, or 50 million subscribers on YouTube or any of that rubbish. Like being with each other, having good connections with each other and good relationships, living good lives together that are rich, all that stuff that we all know is the good stuff, but we just forget it in the pursuit of stupid things. The way that we shoot people, I really think can tell that story. Yeah, that's success for me. If I can do that, then that's success for me.
A very good answer, and I totally agree. It's about just being creatively fulfilled and communicating, because any art form is about communication. We don't make art unless we want to communicate something, and so I felt like I've not been talking through my photography in the last few weeks, but now today it's been good. So I'm very grateful for this. Thanks, Sean, for asking me to shoot your portrait.
It's been great, dude. I've really enjoyed it. Thanks
ever so much.
Yeah.
I'll leave Sean's links in the description below, but for now, thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Thank you.
That's great, dude. Happy?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Very happy. Thanks
Awesome.
ever so much.